Hello and welcome to another episode of Keep It Moving Podcast. I am your host, Novelty, and joining me as usual is Mike B.
What it do?
I swear, every time you say that, I
I
hear Yogi Bear. Hey, boo boo.
Oh, maybe I should start saying that.
I'm just
Hey, boo boo.
Okay.
Right on.
Anyway. So, what'd you do for the eclipse?
I was at work, but it seemed like it was a very, very chill, relaxing day. Nobody was doing anything. We were all focusing on trying to see the eclipse. So from like 11 to 2:30, even though it was, over and done with, we were still kind of just chilling and hanging out. We'll go inside and, do a little work and then go back outside and check out the weather and look up with our fancy glasses. You said you did have some glasses, didn't you? Mm-hmm. What did you do?
I grabbed a chair off my porch and set it in the middle of my backyard.
And just stared at the...
I grabbed my glasses, grabbed my tablet, took my water, sprayed myself down with off, put on pants so I wouldn't get bit up, and went and sat in the middle of my yard and just watched. And it was cool up until, I saw all of it up until the very end, right at that maybe 1 minute mark where the moon was completely crossing the sun.
What they would call like totality.
Yes. This big, beautiful cloud decided to get right in my way, and it left right after totality was over. So, it literally sat there just for that minute. It was like, are you kidding me? So I figured God was trying to tell me something.
Now, what was cool about it is even though, it was kind of getting dark around the area, we were looking up, staring at the sun. You could still see like clouds passing through. Mm-hmm. And I thought it was neat. And it was at one point, it was getting dark. The building lights for where I work, they came on. The cicada started singing. The cricket started chirping or whatever. And then it got like real, like humid all of a sudden. And almost as if the air wasn't blowing anymore. And for some reason, I reached back to my conspiracy theories. And then I started to think about all these people that say it's not the solar eclipse, it's the end of the world. And I felt like I was being choked. And I couldn't breathe.
Oh, wow.
And so I'm looking around. I'm like, do y'all feel that? Trying to see if I'm the only one. Maybe he going to take me and leave everybody else. But I got so scared for like 45 seconds. And then a breeze came through and I was okay. I forgot, me and JT talked about this on our show. And I forgot to mention that part, but for a moment I thought I was gone. I said maybe they were telling the truth. We should have been listening. I would have been one of those people on top of that building for what, Haley's Comet or whatever it was.
Oh my God,
that would have been me with my aluminum foil hat and everything.
Well, me and my dog, we were just kind of chilling in the backyard, and I'm like, oh, I got the best view in the world because it's absolutely no trees back there, so I had a great view until that stupid cloud came through. But my dog, now, she was out there with me and she was running around looking for the cats and everything like she normally does. And it started to get dark. And she came on up to the front with by the door ready to go inside.
She said, it's time to go.
I think she was a little confused.
I think most of the animals were confused.
So, and they were telling people who had pets not to let their pets go outside. They had signs in pet stores and everything. Don't let your animals outside during the eclipse. It'll mess their eyes up too. And you can't make them wear glasses.
You can make your pets wear glasses.
No, you can't make your pets wear glasses. We're not going there.
Get you some duct tape and tape those glasses on that dog.
Anyway, the reality is my dog wasn't thinking about no eclipse.
Or looking up at the sun.
My dog was looking for the cats. And then he just noticed, or she noticed it got dark and she went to the door. Like, okay, I guess it's time for me to go in.
Right.
So other than that.
And but what I will say about the eclipse is that for that moment in time, people were talking about something else besides the president.
Well, you got a point there.
They were unified. We were having unified conversations, and it wasn't like all this divisiveness. So
it was a good thing.
A good thing for a change.
Okay. Before we really get started, I have a plea to parents. Kids are have gone back to school now, at least here in my area. All the kids have gone back to school. And, I live in a suburb, and, in the suburbs and even small cities, a lot of small cities, there are no sidewalks. So these kids are standing waiting for the bus. Please tell your children they need to put their bodies in the grass and wait for the bus.
Instead of in the street. Because they stand on the corner right at the edge. One little girl, she just standing in the middle of the street. And then they texting. So they're looking down. They're not looking up. And people are trying to go to work. And you can sit up and say people shouldn't speed. You can blame the speeders all you want. You can blame the people driving all you want. But if your child would be standing in the grass versus standing in the middle of the street, they are going to be less likely to get hit by a speeder or even somebody who is following the law and something happened and their car go out of whack. Something happened and it's an oil slick in the middle of the street, or it's raining, and when they see that child and hit the brakes, they don't slide into them. There's this one little girl, she's sitting on she just texted, she played a tuba or something. So she got this big old instrument and she sits in the middle of the street. And she's texting and she's looking down, and when she sees a car, then she slowly gets up and slowly walks back across to the edge of the street so the car can pass. Then she moves slowly back in her way, back where she was, and sits in the middle of the street. What's the point? That doesn't even make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
Maybe she gets better reception in the middle of the street.
I don't care what she getting in the middle of the street. She texting. It can't be bad texting. Okay, and so, or texting, Facebook, whatever she's doing. And the thing is, where she sits, it's a corner there. So you don't see her until you come around the corner and you're right on top of her.
And you might be speeding. You might end up hitting her.
And even if you're not speeding and you don't know she's there driving the speed limit, it's a possibility she's going to get hit. A strong possibility. So please,
you should have got out and snatched. Did you witness this girl?
And I see her every morning because I get up and I go to the gym in the morning.
Oh,
and she's there every morning. I finally started going another way because the moment I say something to somebody's child, then somebody coming at their door, rolling their neck and waving their hand.
And that's when you say, "Bring it." I just saved your child's life. So you got to be more confrontational.
I've been trying to figure out how to, who to talk to. Do I need to call the school district? Because she does it every single morning. And it's gotten me to the point where in the morning, I try not to go that way because she going to get hit. And I don't want to watch it. I don't want to see it. And I don't want to be a part of it.
What if you just went that way, got maybe earlier, instead of going to the gym, you spent your gym time in your car. Every time she got in the middle of the street, you just laid on your horn.
I'd like to go to the gym. She ain't my child. That ain't my job.
But you're concerned. So as a concerned citizen,
what I'm saying is I'm saying to parents, please tell your children to get their butts out the middle of the street.
And it's funny that you mentioned that because before you got here, I had just read a story about these 3 young black kids. They were walking at night. And a driver was distracted for some reason. I believe they told the police that an oncoming car lights were too bright, so they got distracted, ended up hitting these 3 kids. And the kids were the ones who got a ticket.
Well, that's good. Were they in the middle of the street?
I don't know if they were in the middle of the street, but the fact that the driver was distracted and hit them, then I believe they have a little bit of fault. But it's a city ordinance that if you're walking at night, then you have to have on reflective clothing. So that's why they were getting a ticket. I was like, that's some bull crap. I mean, I understand you need to have on reflective clothing, but you still
forget.
Yeah, and you still
you've been punished enough.
the driver was distracted. They said it in the art. The driver said it himself. So there should be some type of punishment for them as well. But they just got a slap on the wrist.
I know just being behind the wheel of a car, and the other cars will distract you. Somebody riding by you distracts you. People pop up out of nowhere. You're like, what the hell is that?
And then trying to most people are texting and driving, or on the phone and driving.
Well, that's true. But despite all of that, even people who are just doing what they're supposed to be doing, when you as a pedestrian think you got bumpers on you,
sometimes you got to show them. No,
that's the problem. Somebody go hit you, and they gonna show you.
No, but I'm alert when I'm walking.
But. Know your role. Get out of the street. A car will kill you.
Yeah.
I'd rather be the one to move out of the street than be the one dead because I'm trying to show somebody I got bumpers on.
Right. I agree.
So that all I'm saying is please tell your children when they go out that door, while they on that bus stop, one, if you're going to be texting, you need to be back in somebody's yard, because even if you just standing at the corner,
it makes no sense.
People can hit the corner.
Right.
Stuff happens. And if you are I'm talking to this person about this and doing this, and Judy did this and Janie did that, Junie and Janie going to get you killed. Because here come this car that the driver might be in the wrong, but you're not paying attention.
Right. So if someone was paying attention, then this
possibly could have been avoided. Right. So,
and just keep your ass out the street.
Right. And especially at the middle of the street. And then you going to get up and walk like you ain't got nothing else better to do and don't nobody got no place to be. I would have really been angry had I not just been going to the gym. Had I had to get up and go to work,
I would have been honking.
I'd have probably been at my car.
Oh, you should.
That's when her mama would have come down the street.
Ain't no problem.
But
let her mama come out the street, and her mama need to chastise her.
Her mama does. And that's why I'm like, where are these parents? Now, when I come back, the little tiny kids are out, and they always out of the street.
Well, that's good.
They mamas pulled them in, and a lot of times their parents are either sitting on the corner with them in their cars.
Yeah, it's dangerous
It's just
out here.
the teenagers that just in the middle of the street. And it's just one little girl that's driving me nuts. But then when I started going through different routes in my neighborhood, I saw all the little kids. So most of them were out of the street, but they were all doing the same thing, the texting. And they weren't paying attention to the cars going up and down the street. Anyway, with that said, so you might be.
Okay, for this week's Black Achievements and Excellence, we are giving it to a Kansas City native. I don't know if he was actually born here, but it is Daryl Chamberlain, 59-year-old history teacher in Kansas City, Missouri. He wanted to create an orchestra for the youth, but, with budget cuts and the schools not having that much funding, they didn't want to, I guess, give them any instruments. So he decided to take the money that he would get from playing at local churches or whatever and purchase instruments himself. And I think they said he was able to purchase over 70 instruments from like pawn shops and estate sales and stuff like that, and formed the A-flat Orchestra. He said he wanted to change the lives of youth through music. He said, I'm doing more than teaching music. I draw parallels to life situations and help children to understand how music connects to everyday life. He also pointed out that music students have the lowest rate of teenage pregnancy and lower rates of violent crime. So the writer went on to say that he's creatively preparing young black students for the future, one music lesson at a time. Oh, so cool. Shout out to Daryl Chamberlain, Kansas City, Missouri. When it's one of our own, we have to support. But I do have an honorary mention.
Okay.
That's going out to my boy, Colin Kapernick. I feel like I always want to say Colin because of the way it doesn't even matter. Colin. Colin Kaepernick. I think within the past week, he ended up donating $100,000. $34,000 went to J. Cole's Dreamville Foundation. He donated $33,000 to New York's Lower East Side Girls Club and $33,000 to 100 Suits for Men. And so far, I believe within this year, he has donated $800,000. And I think he made a pledge to donate $1 million to, his favorite charities or whatever. And people are still out here finding something bad to say about this guy who's putting his money where his mouth is, even though he doesn't have a job right now. And, football season just started. And people or some players are still participating in the kneeling or the process of the national anthem. And more recently, the Cleveland Browns had a football game, and I think there was like 10 football players that kneeled or at least showed some sign of solidarity and protest against the national anthem. And one of those happened to be a white football player named Seth DeValve. Mm-hmm. He plays for the Cleveland Browns. Did I say a team or I just said the NFL? I don't think I said a team just yet.
It all don't make no sense to me.
Anyway, he said, I myself will be raising children that don't look like me, and I want to do my part as well as to do everything I can to raise them in a better environment than what we have right now.
Yeah, he's married to a black woman.
He's married to a black woman, and if they have kids, I don't know if they have any right now, but they will be raising black children. And it was coming out because they were saying he's like the first white player in the NFL that
to do it. You're right.
Participated in the protest, but his wife came out, and because he was getting all these accolades and praise, and she said, I'm glad that he did it, but let's not forget the reason that he's not the first white person to do it. And she brought up this U.S. woman soccer player that was a white lady that kneeled. But also, Colin Kaepernick started this over a year ago, and he lost his job.
Right.
And so, he's the one that we need to be bigging up instead of her husband, who's just trying to be on the right side of things. And it wasn't like she was saying like he ain't shit or whatever. She's proud of her husband,
right.
But she doesn't like that people are treating him like he's some white savior just because he's participating in something that we started.
Right.
So again, honorary mention to Colin Kaepernick.
Colin Kaepernick.
I'm gonna get it right one of these days.
It's a shame that I know this and you don't.
My mind ain't right now.
Your mind ain't never right.
Again, for putting his money where his mouth is, and I just have to big up that.
Well, speaking of Kaepernick, the NAACP has asked for a boycott of the NFL. They're asking people to boycott the NFL. So I have no problem with this.
I said the same thing.
Absolutely no problem.
I don't care about watching the games. I don't need to go to any bars that are playing the game. So I'm good.
I don't need to see the Super Bowl commercials this year. And if this man does not get a job, I will not watch the Super Bowl. That's the only game I watch all year long is the Super Bowl. If he does not get a job, this will be the first year I do not watch the Super Bowl. Because I stand with Colin Kaepernick. I really do. So I hope that other people are too. I hope that football fans like JT, who's still missing.
JT he's not participating. He said he's gonna protest a different way, but he can't give up the NFL.
He's not giving
that's
up
what
the
the NFL are banking on people like
right,
this
on people
to
like
continue
that.
to watching. And they continue to make their money, and they continue to blackball people who are just standing up for justice.
Right, and I wish not only men who love football would boycott football, but I also wish, at least NFL football, you still got college football, high school football,
right,
all kind of other football, just NFL football. But I also wish the NFL players, especially the black players, would just decide to, hey, you know what, we not playing.
Some of the black players are oh, that's a good one. You just said not play, not just protest,
no,
but not play. But that one's kind of hard because it's still their money that they're dealing with. They have to feed their families. So I kind of understand.
People stand out on the picket line too.
True.
Same reason. So I do understand, but I wish that we would see that. And basically now we're just gonna go over what we have missed in the last 2-3 weeks, or not missed, what we've seen in the last 2 or 3 weeks.
What we wanted to miss, but
so several people have dropped off of Trump's councils. And several charities are no longer going to do events at Mar-a-Lago due to Trump's response to the Virginia crisis. The ESPN fantasy football, there was an auction and it resembled a slave auction. So people were fussing about that. Terrorists attacked in Barcelona, and then it's been several since. And please don't ask me where, but they all been over in that area.
Okay.
The Secret Service don't have enough money anymore to pay to protect Trump and his family. Too many expensive trips, too many family members that they're having to protect. Right. So right now they don't know what they're going to do and how they're going to afford to pay all the people that they need to protect the Trump family. Taylor Swift dropped a new album.
Oh, were you excited?
Woo! I was up all night.
I bet you were. You seem like I can see you listening to Taylor Swift, actually.
Some of her music, actually, her music is not bad. Her music is not bad. But
I can't think of a Taylor Swift song right now.
Well, neither can I, but that's well, actually I can. This one right here. She's got a new she's going to have her new video. The video now doesn't drop until the VMAs Sunday. However,
are you watching the VMAs?
I don't know.
Okay.
We'll see. However, the problem is she did like a 20-second teaser. And she's like standing and dressed in this little black leotard thing.
Oh, and she had like people lined up like beside her. Okay, I think I saw that.
So people are, or the Beehive, I'm sorry. They are screaming because it's too much like Formation.
Okay, Beyonce's song. I didn't see the video for Formation, so I'm not sure.
Well, I saw the video for Formation.
Okay,
but I've only seen 20 seconds
of Taylor's
of this, and it not even 20 seconds of the video. It's like it's just clips of stuff, just all mixed in. And the only thing that resembles Formation right now is that image, that lineup, and it's only on there for like 10 seconds.
But is she saying really? Like, let's get information?
No, she ain't said nothing. That's just it. She ain't said nothing. And so I'm looking at this going, huh?
Like, where are they drawing this from?
Well, I can see maybe they drawing it from that, but maybe y'all should give it more than 20 seconds before y'all just jump down this woman's throat.
I don't know. I don't know nothing about Taylor Swift except that whole situation that happened between her and Kanye West.
Okay, that was a long time ago.
I know it was a long time ago.
And that's in it with Katy Perry now, and the only reason I know this is because every once in a while I forget to turn off my TV, and I keep it on Channel 9 all day. So sometimes it rolls into ET.
Entertainment Tonight?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I see that, and I'm like, okay, it's time for me to turn the channel down. So I know she in it with Katy Perry, and then Chuck Schumer was on The View. And he knew about the feud with Katy Perry and Taylor Swift. So it's some feud going on.
Chuck Schumer from Congress?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what it was like.
He ain't got nothing else to be worried about.
They was asking. They said, "Okay, so what's the big news going on?" And he says, "Man, let me tell you," and started talking about
Taylor Swift
and Katy Perry, and
he knew details.
Yeah, real details. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
That's why ain't nothing get done, or the sneaky stuff is getting done in Congress. We ain't stopping it.
Like, what? But my question is, I mean, I get that we are on this whole thing of we don't want people to take our music and
like cultural appropriations. Is that what?
Right. Well, we don't want them to take our music and then make money off of it and make it huge and basically steal it from us.
Right.
And I get that.
Because it happens.
Well, but isn't there a difference between appropriation and appreciation?
There is.
Because like they say that, what's his name?
Bruno Mars, your boy?
Yes, Bruno Mars.
I would see appreciate. I think he's more so appreciating.
And see, that's what I see, appreciation. But even, here's another one, Kelly Clarkson. Mm-hmm. She has done a jazz album. And some people have said, well, that's appropriation. But in actuality, I think it's, in her case, appreciation. That's her roots. She grew up in Texas. She grew up with jazz singers. That's her roots. That's where she came from.
Yeah, I feel like that's different than a Miley Cyrus.
Right. That would be appropriation.
Even with depending on what this music is that Taylor Swift puts out, then I'll have to, I guess, reserve my judgment if I hear the song.
And that's the thing. That's where I am. Let me reserve my judgment about this video until I actually see it, because I can't make that claim off of 20 seconds of flashes.
But did you actually hear any of
the
song? Okay.
That's my point. But
just because you didn't hear, maybe you just had the sound down. Was there no music period?
No, there was something back there.
Okay.
But I didn't hear anything that would make me say, okay, she's stealing from Beyonce.
Was she twerking? I mean, what's she doing?
Move. She was standing
straight. I don't know then.
You have to look. Maybe I should have showed you it before the show. But you have to really see. If there's literally nothing to this 20-second teaser. Uh-huh. And they're up in arms, but at some point you got to step back and say, okay, wait a minute, is this appropriation or appreciation? And then, you're speaking for Beyonce.
But
how do you know
people don't even like the fact that Taylor Swift, when she goes to like hip hop award shows or whatever, or she's up dancing to hip hop music or to black artists, because it just doesn't seem, it seems out of place for her.
Okay, and it may seem out of place, but this is the one thing I've seen with Taylor Swift. Uh-huh. Taylor Swift does country music. Yeah. Taylor Swift doesn't really step outside of her zone.
So you think this
Taylor Swift is not, I've never seen her take a song. She don't do what Miley Cyrus did. She don't get rappers on her album and then talk about them behind their back.
But answer me this. With Taylor Swift doing country music, looking at that little picture, does that look country?
Right now, until I see more of that, I gotta see it. I can't. It's one of those things that I just don't know. Yeah. And I'm not saying it's not possible, because it is.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
Right, it happens all the time. But really,
another person I wouldn't say is appropriating but appreciating is Eminem.
Oh, definitely. Definitely not.
Just,
I do not think that's
head.
just where that was his background.
Right.
That's where he came from. And I mean, we got to remember that we don't live in neighborhoods that are all black, all white, all Mexican. We don't live in neighborhoods or go to schools with just black people, white people.
Not everybody, because there are definitely some
white
people that go to all white.
Well,
or all
you
black,
got a few. I mean, you got a few here and there, but for the most part, this country, you're going to come in contact with people from other cultures.
Right.
There's really no such thing as an American culture, because American culture is a mixture of a bunch of different cultures. So you're going to come in contact with that. And if you're raised with that, if that's always been around you or has been around you for so many years, then at some point it becomes appreciation, not appropriation. And we should probably step back before we automatically say we're appropriating, because it's a lot of Africans that feel like we appropriate Africa.
Black people in Americas.
Yeah, black people in America appropriate Africans.
When we wear our dashikis and all that stuff like that.
And they feel like you don't know the history, you don't know anything about it, and here you are taking it from it when all we're trying to do is understand where we came from.
Right.
So you got to be really careful when you say that, because some people are, some people aren't. But anyway, back on to my list. Now, we were talking about Chuck Schumer. Well, Amy Schumer's upset now.
I heard about the whole Netflix thing. Yeah.
Yes.
But I also heard that her Netflix special wasn't good.
Well, see, that's the thing. See, she's mad because she don't make as much money
as
Chris Rock and Kevin Hart.
Was it Kevin Hart? I thought
so.
Dave Chappelle. It may have been Kevin Hart, but I thought Dave Chappelle was in there as well
too.
And they were getting upwards of what, 20 million or something like that.
And she's mad.
She got 11, and I could understand her, being in the game, but she's not I feel like they are legends. Not really Kevin Hart, but as far as Dave Chappelle and Chris Rock, they've been doing this for a while,
right?
And they're good at it.
Right.
And Amy Schumer, she may have a good thing every now and then, but for the most part, I don't laugh at what she says.
Well, I feel like she's still an up and comer.
And
she really is.
Just to find out that she got 11 million sounds like a lot to me.
Right. So she says,
But does she think it's a gender thing?
Yeah, she's thinking it's a gender thing. But quite honestly, I'm with you. I don't necessarily think it's a gender thing. I think it's a number of people you gonna bring thing.
What she could do is maybe talk to some other women who have did specials on Netflix to see if there's this gender gap or whatever when it comes to what they would pay artists. Someone who has been in the game as long as a Chris Rock or a Dave Chappelle.
Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah. I don't know why I was trying to. Yeah, I was thinking
Wanda Sykes.
I think Wanda Sykes can garner a $20 million check.
Yeah, maybe Wanda
on a Netflix
Sykes,
special, but she's a hit and miss too.
Right, she's a hit and miss.
Sometimes I don't really get her jokes, but I still enjoy
ever since
watching
she married that white woman, and she talk about her like that white woman. Yeah, she kind of funny.
Oh, listen,
she say some things that are just so inappropriate.
Lord,
But she talk about the white woman and the white kids, and she the only black woman in the house, and they make her clean.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my God, she done lost her mind. So, but I mean, I'm with you. Just, is it a numbers thing? I think it's more of a numbers thing than it is a gender thing.
And then what you can bring to Netflix,
right.
Because I think I would say Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock, Kevin Hart have a lot more of a following, more of an audience that would go and watch those specials. To me, more so than an Amy Schumer. I wouldn't.
Right. I wouldn't. I personally wouldn't go watch
Amy Schumer. I didn't watch it because, first of all, I'm not really into her like that. But second of all, I've heard from people who watched it that it wasn't all that. Like she could have kept.
I definitely would have scrolled past her. But Chris Rock, I'm there. Kevin Hart, I'm there. Dave Chappelle, I'm there.
I'm on the fence with Kevin Hart, sometimes
I'll watch
because it gets, repetitive.
Something repetitive and just it's like he drills a joke too far sometimes. But I'll watch.
Right on.
Moving on. Joe Arpaio, whatever his name is,
Arizona sheriff.
Yeah. He has been pardoned.
Yeah, and everybody saw it coming.
Oh yeah.
Once he was, because he was out there speaking on behalf of his boy, 45.
I'm sure was.
And then,
that's what makes the situation even worse. You say what? Okay, now I haven't gotten to Wishy Washy Trump yet, but let's talk about Wishy Washy Trump. 1 minute, the KKK and the Nazis, and he says all the things that he should have said. Then the next minute he takes it all back and says other people were to blame too. Both sides.
Many sides.
Then he goes to Arizona and he talks about how, I took everything back. I said the KKK, I said the Nazis, and they still mad. Yeah, but you missed the whole point. It was the many sides.
Yeah.
Then he goes to another event the next day and he's another. I mean, it's like it's 20 sides of Trump. And we just saw them all this week. Now, for those of you who are shocked,
like
I want to know why.
He's kind of schizo.
Yeah, it's like, why are you shocked? Because I've been seeing this. And then it's like, if he didn't just put the icing on the cake by pardoning this guy. This man racially profiled Mexicans and Latinos. He was told to stop doing it by his superiors. He basically told not only his superiors, but the whole world, I'm going to do it anyway.
Right.
And continued to do it. So a judge found him guilty and sentenced his butt to prison. And this fool comes out and he says, oh no, I'm going to let you go. You already in trouble with racial issues and you going to sign off on this now? Well, you should have shut up and signed off on it a year from now.
But see, that's you thinking that he cares. He doesn't care. He's going to do whatever he wants to do. At all. And then I heard about, you might have on your list about the ban that he supposedly signed this week, banning or barring LGBTQ members from getting into the military.
Oh yeah, no, it wasn't a ban. It was a memo.
No. That he signed.
He signed a memo. Okay, and that's the other thing. Everybody who thinks Trump has done something, a lot of these little things he's signing now that y'all see him at his little desk signing away on.
Blank piece of papers.
They are memos. Not laws, not executive orders. They are memos. So you can sign a memo all day long, but that don't mean jack until you put a law in place. And even though he's saying, okay, I'm banning people from the military, that's legally very difficult to do because it falls under civil rights law.
Yeah, I'm waiting on the lawsuits to happen once they try to implement
which is why the military is saying, we don't know how this is getting ready to implement. The military chiefs are coming out saying we doubt if this is getting ready to happen because there's no real legal course to do this, especially after everything that Obama did in the civil rights laws. Now LGBTQ is covered under civil rights laws. He can't just take those back. You need 3/4 of Congress to change that. He cannot just take that back. So he's getting ready to have some issues there. So it's like he's saying, oh, I'm doing this. And then he signs these little memos and tries to tell people to do it. And it's like somebody says, dude, you can't do that. That's illegal. And yet all of these supporters are screaming, oh, he's doing so much. He ain't done shit. Excuse my French.
Oh, I like it. And then the fact that he was saying they say he was threatening to shut down the government to get his wall paid for or whatever.
He's still threatening to shut down the government for the wall that he promised the taxpayers that Mexico was going to pay for. So come September, y'all, next week, we're going to have a lovely Memorial Day. When we come back, we don't know we might not have police. FBI might be down because he is threatening to shut down the government. It's like, dude, what's wrong with you?
And you still wonder, when is Congress going to step up and shut this down?
Congress is starting to move.
Some of them are starting to.
I mean, even his team. There's one guy. There's the guy his money guy. I cannot think of his name now. He came out and he finally just said no. There's no place for racism and hatred. And when he cleared the neo-Nazis, all hell broke loose.
Right.
See, when he cleared the KKK, nobody said nothing. It was the neo-Nazis that was the problem. So now people are saying, oh no, there's no room for neo-Nazi people in this country, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And they've gone down this list. And so now there are people in his cabinet that are starting to say, whoa, you need to back up. And these are people that if he gets rid of them, everything will fall apart. So this is his money guy. This is the guy that they're saying that without him, all of these job numbers that are being created, all this stuff going on Wall Street, it immediately will stop if he's gone. We'll see, because that don't mean nothing to Trump because he's stupid.
And he doesn't care.
So anyway, moving on. Now, did you happen to catch a glimpse, a clip, anything of the Virginia
Confederate monument coming down?
No.
No, that was North Carolina, I believe.
No, not the Confederate monument. The rally in Virginia. I'm not Virginia. No wonder. Arizona. That's why you went there. You didn't see any clips of Trump's rally?
Now, I don't know if it was in Arizona. That's what I'm saying. Okay. I saw one that it was being held under like this gazebo.
Okay, no.
That was maybe last weekend.
This was in a,
and that may have been Pennsylvania.
This was in some kind of building. So if you have seen it, there's this black guy, because you always talk about the black people that are for Trump. So that's why I'm bringing this to your attention.
Yeah. Now I did see everybody was talking about him.
The
he
black
was
guy standing up.
Yeah, blacks for Trump.
Too happy to stand up when you hold his sign. Well, this black guy, first and foremost, it has come to the attention of some news people that, one, they put Craigslist ads out for black people to hold signs at the rallies.
Are you?
I'm not joking.
No, I heard that Saturday Night Live did a skit where they mentioned that, but I didn't know that was an actual thing.
This is an actual thing. But also, this guy who was standing behind
We've seen him at other rallies.
Well, his name is Michael. He's a radical fringe activist from Miami. He once belonged to a violent black supremacist religious cult, and he runs a handful of amateur, unintelligible conspiracy websites. He was charged and acquitted with conspiracy to commit 2 murders. Now, I don't want him on my team. I don't care. He could go. But if this is the kind of black people that's standing up for Trump.
Well, look who he got, the KKK supporting him too. He don't mind having killers on his side as long as they dumb.
Well, there you go.
Shoot.
From what the Washington Post has found, Michael's pretty unintelligible.
That's how they put it.
That's how they put it.
Right on. Yeah, I saw that guy.
Okay, now Mnuchin. He's our Treasury
Steven?
Secretary.
His wife was in the news here recently.
His wife in trouble.
Is she?
She came lolly-dollying off of one of the government's planes. You can see on the side of the plane, it don't say Southwest. It don't say Delta. It say United States of America. Okay, and she gets off and she's talking about...
That's why they can't pay the Secret Service. Because of...
Here you go. But she's talking about wearing her Hermes and her this and her that. You know, she's calling out labels, doing huge shout outs to brands. Okay. Right? As she gets off her plane with her husband. Me and my husband just came back. She talked about the sunglasses. She was wearing some shoes. I'm like, oh, okay. She just dropped all of these names. Well, an Oregon woman was very upset and she responded. She says, glad we could pay for your little getaway. Hashtag deplorable. Well, this woman decides that she going to respond to the Oregon woman. Now.
The wife wants to respond.
Mnuchin's wife.
Okay.
Now, you know, you can clap back when you a celebrity. And she used to be on some show. She used to be an actress. She wasn't a big one, but she used to be an actress. And you can clap back if you're a comedian. I can see you clap back. I can see you clapping back if you just a regular old person. But when you using government property and you clapping back to the taxpayer, it's a problem.
What do you look at 45?
This is what she said.
That's what he does daily. He attacks. He ain't just no clapping back because they just sleep. They ain't said nothing to him. And he'll tweet. Go ahead.
Well, she says to the Oregon woman, "Oh, did you think this was a personal trip? Adorable. Do you think the U.S. government paid for our honeymoon or personal travel? Laugh out loud, laugh out loud, laugh out loud. Have you given more to the economy than me and my husband, either as an individual earner in taxes or in self-sacrifice for your country? I'm pretty sure we paid more taxes toward our day trip than you did. Pretty sure the amount we sacrifice per year is a lot more than you'd be willing to sacrifice if the choice was yours. You're adorably out of touch. Thanks for the passive-aggressive, nasty comment. Your kids look very cute. Your life looks cute. I know you're mad, but down deep, you're really nice, and so am I. Sending me passive-aggressive Instagram comments isn't going to make life feel better. Maybe a nice massage, one filled with wisdom and humanity, would get more traction. I'm sorry, that's message. Maybe a nice message, one filled with wisdom and humanity.
I'm like, massage you with humanity. What is that all about?
Would give more traction. Have a pleasant evening. Go chill out and watch the new Game of Thrones. It's fab. Now, first of all, how she know this woman her son in Iraq?
Right.
How she know this woman one of her children or even her husband didn't die in war? So
she didn't ask.
I mean, she went to
her
her little
pictures
Instagram
to
page
kids,
and but she don't know this woman, so you don't know what kind of sacrifice she has made for her country. You don't know what kind of sacrifice her family has made for their country. So she need to back up off, because first and foremost, most people who have very little, their children have been the ones to go fight these wars. Their families have been the ones to go fight these wars, not your rich ass. Okay, so that's where I had a problem with it. You don't know nothing about this woman to go after her and tell her what has she sacrificed. She wouldn't be willing to give up. If this woman lost a child, I bet you she wouldn't be willing to give up that.
Right.
So you got to back up. You made your little comments about your little dresses and shoes and glasses and scarves and all of that, but she went too far when she started talking about the lady and what she sacrificed.
I could agree with that, but I guarantee you she didn't care. Well, but I heard that she came out and apologized,
of course,
like they always do. Somebody reminded her that you can't just say anything to anybody. You're on the public platform, but more so you represent the United States.
Not only that, the ethics committee went after her because she shouted out brands, and you are a government employee who you can't do that.
This administration has been doing that.
We seen Kellyanne
Conway do it on live TV.
Yes, on live TV, and they tapped her hands. But
who cares about
it's
that?
time to stop tapping hands and start. Hey, you want to shout out those? It's gonna cost you $1 million
every time.
Your husband got the money to pay for it,
and we got the Secret Service to pay.
There you go. That's how you pay the Secret Service, right there. Start
finding
their butts for stuff. So, and last. So have you heard that, her reason for doing what she's trying to do is understandable. However, so there's this big thing going on with the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts.
Okay.
A young lady lost her brother who was a Boy Scout.
Uh-huh.
And she is trying to join the Boy Scouts in honor of him.
Instead of the Girl Scouts.
Right.
Okay.
So, of course, the Boy Scouts are going, no. You a girl. You got to join the Girl Scouts.
Yeah.
And so now they're talking about filing suit against the Boy Scouts and the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts because they won't allow you to join either one you want to join. Now, I'm female and I got a problem with that.
Okay.
I get it's one thing to have men's clubs that you can't go into if you're black. You can't go into if you're female. You can't go. You got to go through this door. You got to.
That's not cool either, right?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm saying it's one thing for that, but it would be. I guess it would be different if there was no Girl Scouts. When it comes to Scouts, to me,
but that's like saying it'll be
different.
Different if there wasn't a black bathroom, a colored bathroom,
right? And that's where the line gets a little gray because you don't want to. I don't want to send off the message that that's okay. And I see where she's coming from, but it's the Scouts. These are little kids. When you send your kid off to Girl Scout camp, they're going to be with nothing but girls.
Right.
So you don't have to worry about slipping off to a different cabin and going and doing this, that, and the other. You don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts. I was a Girl Scout for years.
They learn different things as well, don't they?
Yes and no. The Boy Scouts, they teach them how to tie knots. I don't ever remember learning how to tie a knot in the Girl Scouts.
Okay.
But for the most part, it's the same thing.
I'm sure like survival skills.
Right.
Yeah.
For the most part, it's the same thing. teach young women how to survive in the wilderness. It's just all girls. They teach young men how to survive, how to not even just the wilderness. They teach you life lessons, everything. It's just they separate you into girls and boys
because it's catered to your gender.
It's not necessary. No, I wouldn't even say that either one is catered to gender.
Okay. Well, I feel like you're making an argument for her then.
No, I'm not making an argument for her. The reason they separate them is because
for the safety of the others.
That's what I think. Okay. For the safety of the others. When you go off to all of these camps and all of this, that and the other, the Boy Scouts are with boys. They have male scout leaders and troop masters. It's just all men over here and all women over here. The only thing that the Girl Scouts do that the Boy Scouts don't is the cookie drive.
Okay.
And I'm sure they have something they do themselves.
Yes.
It's just Girl Scouts got Girl Scout cookies, and that's it.
Did the girl explain how this honors her brother?
If she did, I didn't see it.
Okay. I would be interested to hear that.
I mean, I understand where she's coming from, but I guess just here...
I understand.
I don't know.
A little bit, but I just don't see how her being a part of the Boy Scouts honors her brother. Just to be able to say that they both were in the Boy Scouts.
I don't know.
Maybe she wants to be, or would she settle for being an honorary member but participating with the Girl Scouts instead?
I don't know.
Those would be questions that I would have.
I mean, now, like, you got the Boy Scout Jamboree that the president goes to.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
do they have anything like that?
Don't. Well, yeah, we got a jamboree, but the president don't come to it.
Oh, okay.
Now, the Girl Scouts did camp out on the White House lawn when Obama was president. The Boy Scouts didn't.
So they got something.
So I mean, it was and that was the first time. So
okay.
That was new, but that's like a toss off. I think it's just. I think with young children separating boys and girls, I think that's okay. Because if I were to send my daughter off to camp, I don't want to have to worry about her slipping off to Johnny Bobo's cabin or Johnny Bobo slipping off to her.
It's little boys, for the most part, and then they're mean, and so they'll do something, not just sexually,
and then they hit,
but just throwing rocks or they'll tie her hair to a tree or some stuff like that.
Across the lake, and they come over at night and they do teepees and all kind of stuff. So I get it. I understand where she's coming from, but I just don't think there's a need to mix the Scouts. Personally, what do you think?
I don't want to say that I don't care enough. It's just that I don't understand how it honors her brother. That's my only hang up, because if they're learning the same things, then safety may be the only main issue. But then why can't they just say that? Because having girls there might trigger the young men to want to do other things to the little girls. And when it's
right.
all boys
for the really little kids,
and that's what I'm thinking about. I don't know how old this girl is.
Well, she wasn't really little, but for the really little kids, it doesn't necessarily become about a sexual nature. But you're right there.
And plus,
boys
rough.
hit
they're
girls,
rough.
they pull their hair.
Girls have cooties, and you don't know what they're going to do to get those cooties off or away from them. They might tie the little girl up. You never know.
So. Excuse me. That's my poll question. Does it matter to you if they mix the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts, or would you prefer to keep them separate?
Well, what if they had the Scouts together, but then they just had like their own separate dorms? Because then if you did
like
that,
a college campus.
Yeah. If you did that, and that prepares them.
You know what happens on a college campus.
Yeah, but not with little kids.
Right. Not with little kids, but then you still have older Scouts. You've got high school Scouts. I mean, think about it. If I'm in high school, my boyfriend's a Boy Scout and I'm a Girl Scout. We going to summer camp. It's on.
Oh, I didn't know. See, I didn't know he was a freak like that. I'm
not a freak like that. But we talking about horny teenagers.
Yeah.
So
I guess I don't know the age cutoff for
there
Scouts.
Is no age cutoff.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a different story.
There is no age cutoff.
I'm still thinking and talking about kids.
Right,
like
and
less
that's just
10
it.
Years old.
That's the it. There is no age cutoff. I'm still a Girl Scout.
But who's still going to camp? You ain't 45 and going to camp. Do they still have camp for y'all age?
I don't know. I've never looked into camp for my age, but I could be a troop master. Now, I mean, and even still, I'm grown. That's different.
Yeah.
But when I was 14, 15, 16, yes, I could have gone to camp.
And then some of these people that are, if you could just be a camp master or camp leader, then anybody probably can that have gone through the scouts. But you don't know, these can be perverts. And so now that you got your little daughter there, and you got these, like, this is weird.
It's just, it's a lot. It's a lot to take in. And don't get me wrong, I've never heard of anything happening with the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts, but you never know. People do stupid stuff. And then I may just have not heard of it. But it's just, that's the question. It's just out there now. Do we now get rid of the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts and just make them Scouts? Or do we continue to keep them separate?
Like they are now.
That's pretty much all I got. But before we go, I do want to, I don't want to give a shout out, but I want to give my condolences to Jerry Lewis and his family, as well as Dick Gregory and his family. We lost both of them over the past week, and both of them did a lot of great things. You know, Jerry Lewis had his telethon that came on every Labor Day and every Memorial Day. It made my soap go off. That's the only reason I know. Him and Lou Rawls. Now the telethons have been gone for a while, but as you mentioned before, Jerry's kids. So he did a lot of philanthropy work, and then of course Dick Gregory. There was a lot of civil activism there, as well as both of them were comedians and good comedians. So
right,
our hearts go out to them, and as well, our hearts go out to the people in Texas and Louisiana and in the path of Hurricane Harvey. Please be safe.
Right on.
And that's all I got. Good night.
Peace.